Hey, Emmy, Phil
Hey,
Robertson
Phil.
here at Saving Brothers. It is so cool to have you with us today. How's your day been out of 10?
Wonderful. Thank you. How about
Awesome.
you? Thanks for
Yeah,
having
yeah,
me.
yeah, it's absolute pleasure. Well, it's 11:35 a.m. here in Melbourne, and you're in San Francisco. What's the time there? About 6:35 p.m.?
6:35 p.m.
Awesome. So, Emmy, firstly, I want to say thank you for coming on board as one of our global ambassadors, but also as one of our coaches. And for our listeners today, I just want them to get to know you, learn about what your journey's been. We've been connected for some time now on LinkedIn, and I've been following your journey. So, why don't you share with our brothers around the globe a bit about you, who you are, your background, your backstory?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Um, I've been in investment management for 25 years. I ran the number one fund in the world in 1999, and the next year joined a hedge fund and helped the performance go up 20% in a down 40% year. So
Wow.
you have a great experience. Worked for four billionaires, and then after that, I co-founded or founded four different companies. One of them is in the process of being sold. One of them is My10Min, which I still run, and that's all about. That's actually coaching, workshops, and courses, as well as a free app. And it's all about listening to yourself, knowing that it's never too late and you could always fit it in. And so that's the idea, that we all have 10 minutes and we can all always fit it in. And then it's around all kinds of, it's very aligned with Saving Brothers, actually. It's wealth, health, and management and business, and how to be a thought leader, how to make money, how to invest, nutrition, exercise. So all of those are covered in my courses, in my coaching, and my workshops.
And I love that, Emmy. You're right. It absolutely does dovetail into what we're about at Saving Brothers, which is the three key pillars of health, physical and mental health, self, and wealth. And having had a look at my 10 min, that's truthfully, we've all got 10 minutes, haven't we? And I think we just BS ourselves when we say, oh, I'm too busy. No, you're not. You're just not making it a priority. And
Well,
I think that's the key.
the other interesting thing about that is procrastination is actually a survival skill. Because if you think
Yeah.
about our ancestors, if they ran around spending all this time on, self-improvement, they'd run out of calories and they'd die. So they had to do absolutely nothing except focus on getting food and getting shelter.
Hunt or be hunted.
So the interesting piece about procrastination and 10 minutes is, for some reason, if you think, oh, I'm going to work out and I'm going to start tomorrow and it's going to be an hour a day. The next day you're like, yeah, I got no time. Like, are you kidding me? An hour? Like, where am I going to find the time? But if you say, well, I'll just go run around the block for 10 minutes, and then you start doing that every day, pretty soon you've built a habit. But your procrastination doesn't recognize that as a survival threat.
I think that's absolutely true. I myself, you and I were talking offline, and you know about a video I posted the other day that I'm on the drawbridge, the cusp of being diagnosed as a diabetic, like my dad is a type 2 diabetic as an adult. And I was a guy in my 30s running marathons, super fit, but I've just let myself go and used the excuses, oh, I'm stressed, and I was always eating rubbish and not taking care of myself. You are spot on with my 10-minute app. We all have the time. We just need to just baby steps.
Yeah,
Just
and
just make a
stepping
start.
stones.
Yeah, absolutely. I've
Yeah.
gone back to gym 3 days a week and I'm working on a lot of core and ab work. I'm not trying to lift heavy. I'm trying to re-engage and reactivate my body. Absolutely. So I would like to ask you a series of questions, Emmy. You were
Great.
nationally ranked in three sports. Why don't you share with the brothers what sports they were? What was your motivation? Yeah, tell us about all that.
Yeah, so the sport that I've done since I was a kid is horseback riding, and so I was in ninth in the World Cup trials for the U.S. team in 2005, and then 10th in 2006. As well, I've been ranked for Olympic trials and Pan Am trials, so that's something I've done very, very consistently. And then I started running a little bit more, riding a little bit less, And so that was more just like for fun. And but then I ended up placed in a couple of ultra marathons and some marathons for my age group. I only started running when I was in my 40s. And so this is where the curiosity really came in, because I turned 50 and I thought, well, what should every girl do for her 50th birthday? I think I'll do a 50K.
I'll give
And then the
myself a
next
50K.
year,
Yeah.
pardon?
You'll give yourself a 50K, one for each year.
Yeah. So then my girlfriend goes, "Oh, that's such a great idea. I want to do that with you next year." So then when I'm 51, I'm doing the 50K with her too in January. But then my stepdaughter wanted to go to Hawaii. There was a really great marathon I'd also offered to her. So I did those back to back, 2 weekends in a row. And I thought, "Ooh, that'll be a neat experiment to see if I can stay at peak fitness, with a marathon and then an ultra marathon 2 weekends in a row." And that worked out great. And so then I thought, well, I'll just do a whole bunch of these ultra marathons at altitude. And so I did Jackson Hole and Big Bear, a couple of Yosemite. I just kept running them. But when you're doing that and you're 51 years old, I don't care who you are, you got to focus on not getting injured.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, so I was like super diligent about how each week ran out. I did hill repeats Monday, Thursday. I did sprints on the track on Tuesdays. I had everything lined out, right? Just very methodical so that I could stay healthy. So my sprints start going really well on Tuesdays. And I think, well, I'm not going to get any faster when I'm 52 than 51. I better jump on this. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just go do a track and field competition. And I looked online, and there's actually not a lot of 50-year-old women that are running tracks, like sprints off blocks. So I was able to sign up for the national championships without even qualifying. So then I'm thinking, and it was in my same town, which just happened to be that year that they were holding them in San Diego, which is where I was living at the time, and I'm moving back to soon. So then I thought, well, I'm already going to this thing. I wonder what else they have on. So I look on the website, and there's bodybuilding. And I thought, well, it's 85% overlap with the workouts for a sprint. You're trying to make your legs, big in one and explosive in the other. And yeah, why not? I'll just do that. And called the organizer, figured out who to hire, what outfits to buy, all that kind of stuff. And the whole thing was in about 5 weeks. And a girlfriend of mine had done bodybuilding, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you could totally do it in 5 weeks. You just have to really, diet so that you can show all your definition." So no one else showed up for, it was the division, the people that were sponsoring the bodybuilding competition were more known for all the stuff where you actually like lift weights and you get weighted, you win based on how much you lift and things versus bodybuilding. So it was very mixed as to who showed up for bodybuilding. So number 4 in the world showed up for figure, bikini, it was a mix, and no one showed up for women's physique. So I won the 2017 North American champion for physique for women overall, all ages.
It's interesting
by showing up.
Absolutely. And that's a great metaphor for life. Just half the battle. I think it was Woody Allen that said 80% of success is just showing up.
Yeah. And then the next day I still ran the track and field, and silver medal in the 100 and the 400. So, so those are the 3 that I'm now nationally or world ranked in. I was world ranked in horses and nationally in sprint and bodybuilding, which all of it was just kind of on a whim.
Awesome. But, sometimes you just got to dive in and take a chance and have a go.
Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Why did you join Saving Brothers, not only as a coach, but as an ambassador? What is it that's calling you to want to make a difference to help men?
In 2020 alone, 2 of my dear friends committed suicide, and both were men. And then further back, my life mentor, who he saw very early that, my parents were into their lives more than their kids' lives. So he said, your parents don't seem to be that interested in what's going on in your life, and I would like to be your life guide. And then for the next 15 years, he was my life guide, and he took his own life. And so I've just had a lot of people that are close to me take their lives, and they've all been men. And so, I can't undo that, but anything that I can do to help build connections and build bridges and light the way, show support, I want to do.
And that's, Emmy, it's often, I think, when things personally close to us affect us. I mean, my best friend that I went to grammar school with, and a great track and field athlete, he won the all schools hurdles, 110 meters hurdles, was an A-grade tennis player. He played Australian rules football, and he got all the girls. He was that blonde-haired, good-looking kind of guy with the gorgeous smile. And at 33, he checked out. He took his life. And 4 of my own buddies have taken their lives. And often and that's part of the whole thing, I think, with Keep 5 Alive that I talk about a lot, which is getting men to come out and actually, by asking that question, hey, brother, how's your day going out of 10? We don't necessarily need Emmy to solve their problems, but we give them a safe space to put the load down, to let people know, hey, I'm struggling or I'm not doing that well. Emmy, you work a lot with men. Tell me, what is it that you hope to bring to Saving Brothers to our community?
I just want to provide a resources and safe space. My curiosity has led me to uncover and discover a lot of things. And when I get into something, I get in deeply. When I was running, I got really into nutrition and ended up writing the nutrition chapter of a medical textbook. So when I dive in deep. And so now I have a nutrition course so that someone else doesn't have to read 80 books to get up to speed in nutrition. So I'm just really excited to be able to provide resources. I can't know what someone else needs. Just the other day, I was thinking, well, my stress course is so amorphous. Like, it's not like I want to do this, I need to make a decision, or I need to figure out exercise. It's like, am I stressed? So is anyone ever going to sign up for it? And then boom, somebody signed up for it, and she's like, this has really helped me. And so this idea that, like, I can't know what somebody else is going through, I can't know what they need, but to be able to provide all the knowledge, all the resources, and then the brothers will know what they need when they need it. And I'm just excited to be here and have those resources for them.
I mean, you've got a number of courses, or in the US, I'd say you got a bunch. You got a bunch of courses in our platform that we're so proud of. I just think right now, this time in the world, with a lot of uncertainty, I'm finding that COVID's presenting a lot of stress and anxiety. And I think the courses that you offer, I don't know what it is. Sometimes us men, we really find that we can relate to ladies better, and we feel more comfortable to share. And I think also you're going to keep men accountable. I think men often, we want someone to kick us in the pants and be, that tough love. And you've got a beautiful empathic heart, but you're also going to be honest with men. And I think that's sometimes what us men need, not just nurturing, but we need someone to be able to say, hey, come on, are you fair income? Are you going to step up here and be the best version of yourself? And that's one of the reasons we were so excited to invite you to become a coach, because you understand peak performance. You ran the you ran the number one fund in the world in 1999. As you said, you worked for 4 billionaires. You've been nationally ranked in a number of sports, and you've got discipline. And I think it's very easy in this environment right now. I was a perfect example to become undisciplined in your life. Eat too much, overeat, eat the wrong stuff, drink too much, and not sleep. And sleep, I'm learning more and more, is just so pivotal. So that's a really interesting area. I want to ask you a question, because with your courses, I know you also talk about gut health with microbiome. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So a lot of people think of, like, say they have celiac or they have something going on where they, I think it's like 80% of people have some kind of gut disturbance or et cetera. And they think of that separate from mental health, right? You think, and then they talk about, well, you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. But did you know that 85 to 90% of your serotonin receptors, and serotonin is your satisfaction neurotransmitter, your neuroreceptor, 85% of those are in your intestines. They're in your gut. And so
I didn't know that. So
so if you're eating poorly and your gut gets inflamed, not only do you have some kind of irritable bowel syndrome or whatever, but the inflammation in your gut is making you less happy. It's affecting and your brain health then affects your mental health. So it's actually hurting your brain to be bad for your health. And so that's one piece, is that there's a really strong but it goes both ways. So there's just a really strong gut brain axis. So that's where it's going up from the gut to the brain. But then you can use something called your vagal tone, which is a vagus nerve, goes from the back of your head to your lungs, your heart, and your intestines. And what it's used for is when you have major stress, i.e. fight or flight, your vagus nerve communicates to all those at once and says, heart, get ready to pound, lungs, get ready to breathe, gut, dispel everything because we're going to have to run, right? And then afterwards, after the stress is left, then it says, heart, slow down, lungs, slow down, and gut, you can start digesting again. The problem is that even with our cell phones, we have all these little notifications, right? Little red dots. And I think you and I just talked that I'm not on Messenger, I'm not on WhatsApp. I have all my notifications turned off, and my phone is actually in black and white, because all of those little things are stressors. So we get this fight or flight thing going from the vagus nerve down. And so what you can do to actually impact your gut health from your brain is to go on walks, be meditative, just focus on your breathing. All of these little steps, we think, oh, well, that's just relaxing. But it isn't. It's training that every time you have like a major stress come at you, it's no problem as long as you're able to let it go and slow down afterwards. It's just that we stay in that going fast, so many notifications on our phone, multitasking, and then we're in this fight or flight all the time. And then that affects our microbiome, that affects our gut health. So those are some of the concepts that I think about with gut health, mental health, and brain health.
And I think that's so incredible. And me, as the founder of Saving Brothers, I'm learning about these things now, how important they are. I mean, I was overstimulated on my phone too much. And now I turn my phone off at night, turn off the notifications, put it onto silent, going to bed earlier. I mean, I've been a meditator for years, doing transcendental meditation for 29 years. I've just actually had a reset with one of the coaches a week ago. But I think, again, the challenge with men is we are just so overstimulated. So we need things like what your courses are offering around how to actually reset. And like there's something very special, for example, even you go and walk outside in nature, or you walk along the beach in bare feet. And we saw it in the film Pretty Woman. You remember Richard Gere, he's walking along, he's the high flying exec, and then he took his shoes and socks off and he's walking around and he's stepping and he's, oh, wow, I'm re-engaging with myself. Yeah. And I think that's just so important. So then I guess it's really, let's evolve this. How do you view self-care?
So, I mean, I think this, even back up from that, a lot of people say you should have balance. But then what is balance?
What is balance?
Because so I thought when I was younger that balance was like only working 40 hours a week and then relaxing, maybe watching TV. It drove me nuts. And so I think of balance as balancing the things that give you maximum fulfillment and purpose in life.
I love it. What a great definition.
Yeah. And so then when I look at self-care, does it serve me in fulfilling my purpose in alignment with my values? So if I want to be healthy in order to help more people and coach more people, then I need to wake up and go for a run. And I actually love going for a run. I like, I do it like I breathe, but I need to eat healthy. I need to do these things. I need to take care of myself so that I can fulfill my values and my purpose in life. And so then for my coaching and my courses, it's how do I allow other people to learn from the things that I've learned from in order for them to live by their values and feel the most fulfilled that they want to or can feel.
Yeah, I think that's a really great definition. You really do need to do these things in line with your values. Resilience is a topic that you cover. And
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, I mean, in my city in Melbourne, we're in the middle of lockdown number 6. And a lot of people are just emotionally, mentally exhausted. What would be some of your top tips, Emmy, for creating and building resilience?
It's interesting. I had a tough childhood, and at one point I was dating a man, or started to date a man, and then he said, "Oh, you've had a tough childhood. You're never going to be a good relationship partner," and he broke up with me. And I thought, well, that's crazy that I'm just stuck with what my parents gave me, and I built my own life, and and now science is proving me right that neuroplasticity allows you to reprogram your brain and build new connections and build the connections that serve you. And so that is the fundamental piece of the way that I look at resilience is you can program that in. And so then resilience has to do with stress management. And I look at that in 3 pieces. One is there's some stress where you need to put in some boundaries and avoid that stress. And then there's other stress that you learn how to process on the way. And then the third piece is preparing for stress, and that is building resilience. And so like if we had no stress, we'd just be like laying around in the pool all day, we wouldn't be happy either. So there's some amount of stress. The issue with stress today is like what we're talking about with the phones, is that we bring it in and then it festers within us. We need to be able to take in stress, deal with it, and then push it out and relax again and use that vagal tone. So the top tips for building resilience are number 1, knowing your boundaries and focusing on what you can control. So instead of getting frustrated, like other people, the world is wrong or politics are wrong or these lockdowns shouldn't happen, like there's nothing you can do about that. Maybe, I mean, all voters can gang up, but in general, you're going to have a lot more inner peace if you think about what you can do and what you can control. And what you can do and control is your own thoughts, your own feelings, your behaviors, your movements. So going for workouts, going for walks, writing in your journal, thinking about positive things you can do, which we all did during the first lockdown. Now we're a little bit, but this is an excellent challenge. What more can you do in the 6th lockdown? How do you want to be better in this lockdown than the last 5? There's always a way to kind of rechange it. And what the main part of resilience is, spend the time on you, spend the time developing you. The best resilient activity that you can do where you're getting like 6 different resiliences, 6 different resilient building things in one is going for a walk in the sun, because you take in nature, your breath slows down, you help your vagus nerve, the vitamin D is helpful. There's so many things. There's the breathing, the movement. So that is the number 1 move for resilience is anytime you feel stressed or angry or anything, you feel like you want to eat something that is not good to eat, go for a walk. It's literally the best thing you can do.
I love it. Yeah, I'm a big walker. I mean, most days I walk 8 to 10 kilometers. I used to walk 13 kilometers every day. And when I was going through my marriage breakup, it was really the thing, Emmy, that saved me. It was my form of meditation. And a lot of my ideas, for example, my creative ideas come from when I'm out walking, when I'm re-engaging, unwinding, having positive stress. What do they call it? Eustress.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, our global program, which put my hand in front of the screen, the Keep Five Alive, that came about when I was out walking one morning. I was just walking along and I was in a beautiful park and gardens. And I thought, yeah, how can we help men? How can we help men create accountability to themselves and to their friends? And it came about just when I was out walking. So I'm a great believer. And sunshine. Isn't it funny? We're all a lot happier, Emmy, when there's a bit of sun on our backs.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, for
And
sure.
and most people are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to do a bit of a circle back to your investment days. So 25 years of experience as an investor. Let me ask you, as a segue, what are your top tips?
As an investor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as an investor, the thing that I've learned over my career, my number one tip is to invest in line with your personality. Now, there's, famous investors have said, invest in what you know. Like if you drive around and you have an Apple and you drive a Ford or whatever, then you invest in the things that you can see. And that kind of worked pretty well in the 60s with the Nifty 50. But it's not enough. So, for instance, my personality, I love new things. I have this curiosity streak that we talked about with the bodybuilding and the sprinting. So when I first started in my career, I started as an energy analyst. And I watched this CEO take his company through bankruptcy not once, but 5 times, and he didn't get fired. And I thought, I can't handle this. This is just too much. And so I got into technology, and it's a fast changing, lots of different things happening, new things being invented. And if it's moving so fast that if you make the wrong decisions as a CEO, you're out. And I love it. And then there's other times where you could tell I'm a really optimistic person. So there's other times where, yeah, of course, coming off 1999 and 2000, stocks were really crazy. I made a lot of money shorting. But in general, I have a very optimistic personality. And so shorting and being negative and looking for the downside, I never can find it. Like I keep losing money when I short. And when I think about a company, a recent investment I made, I just posted about it on LinkedIn today, was an angel investment in a company called Journey. And that's thinking about what could happen 10 years from now. And that's worked out tremendously. So for me, it's aligning my optimism, my desire for constant change, and then picking the industry and picking the type of investments to make that align with that. So that's, for me, it saves you so much time and hassle if you spend the time to think about your values, your personality, and then align that with the type of investing you want to do.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's not on your website yet, but I am launching a course that goes through this exact concept so that you can walk through and figure out what type of personality you are and figure out how to analyze investments.
I think that's so cool. And we're really proud to have that course, because right now there's a lot of people talking about crypto and Bitcoin and all these different fads and opportunities. And let's use that word of optimism, opportunities. But you've also got to be careful. And I've seen people make a lot of money, and I've seen people lose money. I was on the trading floor of the Melbourne Stock Exchange on the day of the great crash of 1987, 20 October. And I'm looking back up in the gallery at all the faces, and people are there stunned in disbelief. So you've really got to, as you say, line up your investing with your personality. So we're really excited, and hopefully we'll be involved in that course. I also want to ask you, I want to ask you a bit more about your My10Min app. What motivated you to build your own app? Because it's a not insignificant investment. So what was the motivation behind doing it?
Well, I wanted to give something to the world. I wanted to do it at scale. So it's going to be free forever. And I have friends that call me up and say, hey, they're like, I have friends that are on the ketogenic diet, which I'm on. And so they call me up and say, hey, how should I do this? Or what should I eat? And I've got girlfriends that say they love my cooking. I cook ketogenic, but I do it in the French style. So I cook cauliflower souffle and I cook red wine reduction sauce with ribeye. And anyway, I love cooking all this stuff. And so they'll call me up, what's your recipe? And I'm giving them a recipe and I'm finding in the email and whatever. And then I have other people that want to know the workouts that I did in between my Olympic. I would compete on the weekends in Olympic trials or World Cup trials, etc. And during the week, I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks. And so I only could fit in 2 or 3 10-minute workouts. And so what were those workouts? What did I prioritize? And then what are my favorite meditations? And not 60-minute ones, but 4-minute ones, 5-minute ones you could just fit in. So I have all these friends that kind of, I'm their go-to resource. And I wanted to have one place to put everything. So now my friends call me up and they say, hey, what is that souffle recipe? I want to cook it for my husband. And I'm like, just open up the app. It's right in there, right? It's right under food. It's very easy. And other people, Adrian Lee, who's also an ambassador, he's been using the 10-minute workout because he wants to get on the cover of Men's Health. And so he goes and does like a big gym workout once a day. And then the other part of his day, he doesn't want to feel sedentary the rest of his day when he's working online. And so he'll go bang out one of my 10-minute workouts that's on my app. So there's quite a few personal trainers that use it, and they also use it with their clients. So Adrian uses it with his clients when they say, I was too busy to do your full workout, Adrian, but I went on the My10Min app and I did the 10-minute one, so I get credit for doing something. So it's really been wonderful. It took me about 5 days nonstop to build it. And, it's super simple architecture. I built it myself. I coded it myself using Glide. So kind of no code, low code, and, basic understanding of databases.
That is brilliant. So for anybody that wants to find the app, can you tell us where to find it and what to look for? Or is it on the internet? In addition, I assume in the Apple Store, and I'd imagine, where do they get it?
No, it's actually, this is a new trend that's happening with apps where you don't have to qualify for the Apple Store. And a lot of that has to do with the pushback because Apple is charging so much a percentage of revenues. I don't have any revenues from it, so it wouldn't matter. But now people are pretty widely accepting. You don't even have to go into the App Store. So if you go to myhealth.mba, then you can find the app right there on the front, and it actually has all the descriptions. You can also do my10min.com, but it doesn't have as clear description on how to get it on your home screen. So I'd recommend going to myhealth.mba.
Fantastic, Emmy. Thank you. And of course, you're also one of our guest writers. So you'll have an article every month in Saving Brothers on the platform, and there'll be lots of information. And men can reach out to you. They can find you under the Take Action tab. Your courses are to be found in there. Emmy, it's been an absolute pleasure to share the time. I'm sure we're going to do many more of these over the coming years as you help men in our community. And look, it's so cool to have you on board, and we're really keen to make you a part of, well, you are part of the family here at Saving Brothers. Well, I mean, we're only just kicking this thing off, but we've got a massive program ahead of us, a huge journey to influence and help so many men around the world. The whole Keep 5 Alive, which you know about, is very significant to us. And the more that we can engage with you, I think there's going to be lots of men out there over the coming years that be able to take advantage of the different aspects that you can help in not only stress, resilience, microbiome, goal setting. I mean, there's a bunch of different things. What would be your, in summary, what would be the most important thing or most important tip right now that you would give a man and this I'm putting you on the spot, but giving a man in terms of taking positive action to lead their best life?
It's never too late, and we all have 10 minutes. So just step by step. It's never too late.
I love it. And it's so true. Guys out there, and for the ladies as well, who are going to have to get their men off the couch, everyone's got 10 minutes. Emmy Sobieski, absolute pleasure to have you here at Saving Brothers today. Have a wonderful evening, and we're really looking forward to the articles and the coaching that you're going to provide men across the globe. Cheers for that.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Emmy. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.